Hello staff and students. Thank you for joining me this evening. My name is Phillip Tomasso IV, and today I will be discussing my proposal to make Monroe Community College a more handicap accessible campus. This is a topic that in a million years I would never even think to cover. This past year though, I have witnessed the struggles that handicapped students go through on a daily basis. My girlfriend Stephanie was diagnosed with a rare nerve and tissue condition. These diseases have made her unable to walk, and now she needs to get around with a wheelchair. Stephanie used to take traditional classes on campus until this tragic condition took over her body. Though she stayed as strong as she could be, she was no longer able to get around campus. This wasn't because she could not use her wheelchair. This was because she could not get around within the school. Should this have to be something that all the handicapped students here deal with on a daily basis? I don't think it should be, and I'm sure most of you out there agree with me. I hope that this proposal will inspire some of the Monroe Community College community to do something about these issues. Over the past couple of weeks, I have interviewed multiple students who are handicapped about issues that they deal with on a daily basis. Some of those issues included crossing the parking lot, locating elevators, entering the building alone, fitting wheelchairs into classrooms, sitting at desks, not enough handicap parking, and then navigating to buildings that are unattached from the main campus. These are all issues that physically able people do not have to deal with on a daily basis, but for handicapped students, this is a big deal. And I believe that it's a big deal as well. The issues I previously stated, though all have fairly easy fixes, I have still broken them up into two different categories based on the difficulty they would require to complete these projects. I have two different categories, the first one being low difficulty and the second one being high difficulty. Starting off with the low difficulty section, we have locating elevators, entering the building alone, sitting at desks, and fitting wheelchairs into classrooms. I'll be starting with locating elevators. Though this should be a very simple task, in Monroe Community College, the elevators are very poorly marked. With my proposal, I will be proposing to get the school new signage that they can post in hallways in all the buildings that will navigate your way towards the elevators. The second issue I have here is entering the building alone. Now this, if you look up at the PowerPoint, has an asterisk next to it. That is because this is both a high and a low difficulty issue. This is both issues because there's two different parts to entering the building alone. One, which is the low difficulty, would be setting up automatic doors at all entrances so that someone in a wheelchair just needs to press a button and they can enter into the building without being assisted by somebody pushing them. And that's an issue because the second part, which is the high difficulty, is that a door's threshold, so let's say you have a door here, and it has those two pieces of metal that come off. Those are almost impossible to get a regular wheelchair over all by yourself, especially if you have low strength. So for my proposal, I'm saying that we take those thresholds and we even them off just enough so that anybody in a wheelchair will be able to roll themselves right over it and stay on a nice even surface. Third, we have sitting at desks. Now, this is an issue for people in wheelchairs because some of the desks do not come apart, which makes it harder for someone in a wheelchair to get themselves into a desk. The nice thing is MCC does offer some desk sets that have a removable chair. These are perfect for people in wheelchairs, since they can move the chair to the side and wheel underneath the desk. The problem is, MCC does not have enough of these. This brings me on to my fourth issue, and that is fitting wheelchairs in the classroom. Some of you may not notice, because some of you have not been around wheelchairs enough, but with small aisles, you cannot fit a wide wheelchair down them. It's just not possible. In my proposal, I've come up with a way that fitting wheelchairs into classrooms won't be so much of a hassle. When you first walk into a door, into the classroom, that first row will be just for handicapped students. That way, in case of an emergency, you don't have to fit a wheelchair all the way across the room. And here are my high difficulty issues. First one is crossing the parking lot. Second, navigate to unattached buildings. And lastly, not enough handicap parking. Though these are labeled as high difficulty issues, they're still relatively easy fixes and wouldn't take too long or too much capital to finish on this campus. For the first issue, I have crossing the parking lot. This issue, to many, isn't an issue, but to someone in a wheelchair who may be traveling from the dorms over to the main building may have quite a few difficulties navigating through that huge parking lot. Now, I know that though these people are not able to get over there by themselves as quickly as others, it's not a huge issue. But think about it during the winter time. There's snow all on the ground, there's ice, and now you're wheeling your wheelchair through the parking lot. Not only is that a safety issue, but it's just something that no one and no human should ever have to deal with. So for this, I've proposed a few different fixes. One is that during the winter times, that on-campus security will be able to assist and help handicapped students through being picked up in their cars and driven to the other buildings from the dorm rooms, and vice versa. This should allow many students quicker transportation that is both safer and easier on their bodies. For the second issue, I have navigating to unattached buildings. We're lucky at Monroe Community College to have so many buildings that are connected as one main campus. Unfortunately, we have multiple other buildings that are not connected, such as Building 19. Though there is only a few classrooms there, it's very possible that a handicapped student may have to attend class there. This is an issue, because once again, during the winter weathers, this can be a very difficult task to complete. For my proposal, I have proposed a seasonal awning that will both cover and protect handicapped students as they travel from the main campus to Building 19. This is an economical fix that can also be used, that when not being used, can be taken away. Finally, I have not enough handicap parking. If you've ever attended Monroe Community College, you will know that there is quite a bit of handicap parking, but it always seems to be filled up in every parking lot. This is an issue. This could be preventing handicapped students from attending class, or forcing them to park further away where they are not able to get to class promptly. This is an easy fix though. With all the students and all the parking available at MCC, it would not hurt if MCC were to make a second row of parking for handicapped students. This would require a few signs to be placed, as well as enough space where it's still economically sound to have more handicap parking. Also, we could potentially create a handicap parking lot that is much closer to the building. These are my high difficulty issues. Throughout this proposal, if followed correctly and allowed the correct budget, there should be no issues with making Monroe Community College a more handicap accessible campus. So together, let's work towards making Monroe Community College more handicap accessible. Once again, my name is Phillip Tomasso, And I'd like to thank you all for coming out today. Is there any questions that the audience may have? Yes, you?
Are there any economical benefits to this proposal?
Why, yes, there are. Through making the college campus more handicap accessible, we'll be able to take in many more students who before were not able to attend this college. All right, any more questions? Yes, you?
Will this proposal require any extra staffing?
It will. It'll require a construction crew, as well as pay raises for the security staff, so that they feel comfortable transporting handicapped students back and forth. Once again, thank you for your guys' time. My name is Phillip Tomasso, and I hope you enjoyed this proposal.